Okay, this week we're going to continue on some basic shapes, and we're going to use those basic shapes to add to details to our house that we've drawn. They also can be used for kind of other drawings that you're doing. Basic shapes being, let me just use a marker here. Basic shapes being our square, our rectangle, which is going to be like two squares next to each other, our triangle, our trapezoid, three triangles slightly, and our rhombus, and our circle, and our oval, which is like a smashed circle. Those are our basic shapes. Those are the basic shapes that we use to actually draw anything that we want to draw. And when we get a combination of those basic shapes, we can pretty much draw anything that we want to draw. So today, or this week, what we're going to focus on is some elements of our house in relationship to some basic shapes. And I'm going to start first by drawing some windows. So when I'm drawing a window of a house, I'm going to draw a basic square window. When I draw a square window, I then can add small squares. And what that does is gives me window panes, which are like four window panes inside of a window. I can also add structures on the outside to create like wood or molding on the outside. That same thing can happen with a rectangle. So if I have a rectangle window, I can do the same thing, and I can do smaller rectangles. I can do as many rectangles as I want to do, actually. I can do 2 long ones. I could do 4 medium-sized ones, or I could do, like in this case, I could do 6 window panes, and then I can add trim on the outside of those windows. And the same thing happens with doors. So if I have a rectangle, because kind of all doors are rectangles, then I can create windows either in the whole door or a section of the door. And let's use like a circle as an example. So I can use a circle as an example. Or kind of looks like a hobbit door. Or I can use a traditional 4-pane rectangle door. And I usually don't use triangles. Or I can use a square. And I can outline that if I want to. And add my doorknob. Now, for this week, I'd like for you to draw a house again. And let's just do one house. But then I want you to focus on some details. And some details that I'd like for you to focus on is the windows and the doors, not for them just to be plus signs. So as an example, I'm going to do a simple salt box house, which is a little bit of a square, but kind of a little longer on the sides. And it has a trapezoid roof, which is also known as a hip roof. These were indicative of like the 1930s. And then I'm going to do a rectangle door. Now, once I finish my rectangle door, then I'm going to do some outline details of some rectangles, and then I'm going to add some more rectangles. as my steps leading up to that door. Inside of my door, then I'm going to make a design of 4 squares. You can do mine as an example, or you can come up with your own design. I'm going to put my doorknob here. And now I'm going to create 2 sets of windows on the side and 1 set on the top. So on the side, I'm going to do a rectangle and a rectangle. And on the top of that, which is like a second story, I'm going to do another rectangle. And then I'm going to do another rectangle over top of here. Now, inside of here is where I'm going to do my squares or rectangles, which creates more of a detail around the windows and around the doors. This one I'm going to have a little bit more because it's kind of longer. And now I'm going to add some rectangles on the bottom. And let's go one step further in our design today, or this week, and I'm going to add some horizontal lines to make what would look like either wood or vinyl siding. And remember, like we've done in class, don't overlap so it looks like it's behind. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And then on the roof, we're going to do the same thing, except for instead of doing straight lines, we're going to do curved lines. This gives us the appearance of having shingles on our roof. Now, this is one step further than we did last week, which is perfect. Okay, now I'm just going to add some extra details on here, and you don't need to add these, but you can if you want to. Because these are fun. Notice I'm just doing V's. Kind of looks like a wooded place. I'm going to add a big old sun in the background. And these are like bushes. So this week, see if you can add some more details to a house. Same thing as the week before and then last week, by adding shapes to create a house, to create just a little bit more detail on your house.